All right. So, every once in a while, this world is blessed with an individual who goes completely off script, doing their own thing that, frankly, most of us would just consider completely crazy. But we have a lot to thank these individuals because they explore a new territory for our species, which takes us into a new frontier. Past examples would be Harry Houdini, who completely changed magic for the rest of the world. The first person who ever took a lobster out of the ocean and decided to eat it because no one looks at a lobster and says that it's edible. And now we have Red Lobster. So today I would like to introduce you to an individual who is doing exactly that. One who future generations will either decide was completely crazy or just ahead of his time. I don't know how else to introduce this individual, but he goes by the Venom Superman, and he injects snake venom. So I'm going to skip around this video, let you meet him, and I'll let you decide. I think you might be surprised at what you learn here, because there is some interesting stuff that we get exposed to. The Venom Superman.
My name is Steve Ludwin, and I've been self-immunizing with various snake venoms for well over 20 years now. You know, I'm kind of embarrassed. I mean, I don't have that medical background. I don't even have a proper American high school education.
You don't say.
There's been quite a few doctors and scientists that have been horrified by my lack of, having things that are sterile and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't really, don't blame them.
Have our lower Baja rattlesnake. See that? Love medicine, apparently. When I was about 17, it was like, I've got to get that venom into me somehow.
So, why does this guy inject snake venom? You might be surprised. In in the toxicology world, there is a term called hormesis, and hormesis is defined as a phenomenon in which a harmful substance gives stimulating and beneficial effects to living organisms when the quantity of the harmful substance is small. Okay? That means that if you have a small quantity of a toxic substance, it can actually give you some beneficial results. Okay? And I am not going to make the case that snake venom is good for you in any way. However, snake venom is most certainly being researched quite heavily for pharmaceutical and therapeutic properties. And this term hormesis has been applied in the past to alcohol, even smoking, cigarettes. Yeah, there's something called the smoker's paradox, which is quite controversial. But this guy injecting snake venom, he might be onto something and he might not be. But let's get back to the video to kind of explore how else he does his drugs.
This is called a Pope's tree viper, and I'm a little bit wary of them, but it's a beautiful snake. I don't know if you can see the fang. Do you see that fang? It's a hemotoxin. It's going to cause a massive tissue destruction. You know, people have died from these snakes, so you do not want that on your finger.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine you
I moved to London.
would need to start, like, kind of small with these snakes. Go from least dangerous and toxic to pretty damn dangerous and toxic. Anyways.
This next snake is the Naja Kuthia, which is responsible for a lot of deaths every year. In the time that I've been working with this snake, I've had some injections where I was a little bit cocky with it.
Oh my gosh.
Dilution.
That's so freaky.
They were like volcanoes. I had 3 of them. I had 2 on this leg and 1 down here. And they were growing and growing. And
the
growing.
paranoia.
For days, I was like, oh, God, I can feel this pressure. I touched it, and goo shot out 5 foot across onto the carpet. And I was just like, oh my God, oh fuck, I'm fucked here. I got this massive needle for injecting horses or something. I put on some ACDC, and it just gave me the strength just to, against all your will, just push this down, and you could feel it going
All right,
down.
I don't know why I skipped to this part. Let's move on.
Go. Since I kind of discovered the possibilities with the neurotoxin in this cobra venom, I've been using it in sporting activities recently and kind of testing it as kind of added a little bit of extra speed into my normal abilities.
I mean, that could be like placebo, you know?
Doing tests on my skateboard from my house.
Although there is a lot of research saying that certain properties of snake venom can be beneficial to cardiovascular function. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of elements to snake venom that could have the opposite effect. So, take that with a grain of salt. But he seems to think it's helping him out, which, who knows at this point. All right, I'm going to skip to, I don't know, right here. See what this is.
I will start on the actual raw venom, and then what we'll do is we'll use that injection. The first time I tried using the snake venom was pretty scary. There was no internet back then, but it felt really natural. It felt like it was instinct.
Okay. Is it that much more unnatural than smoking cigarettes or drinking alcohol? Because, people are smoking rat poison, and I don't know how many thousands of things there are in a cigarette. I'm not saying either of them is good, right? But, I mean, it is more natural than smoking a cigarette, right?
This is not diluted. This is the pure venom. So now we're going to do an injection with the diluted hemotoxin. The benefits to the hemotoxins, I'm not too sure. I feel like I need another 20 years to do it. I had some doctors test my DNA telomeres, and when I was 42, I scored as a 28-year-old. Perhaps there are some anti-aging properties to snake venom. I mean, it could all end tomorrow as well. I'm not saying I'm invincible.
He is being kind of honest with the viewer, okay? If you watch this through its entirety, he is kind of like, dude, I'm playing with fire here. This isn't something I would recommend anyone do, which you got to respect. Anyways, we don't have to watch the whole thing. I just found it interesting. I didn't know what else to upload today, so something I was reading about. I would go through this research paper. Maybe I will do it a different time, but it's titled The Chemistry of Snake Venom and Its Medicinal Potential. Yeah, we'll do that a different day because I'm kind of short on time, but just thought that was interesting and I would share it. So hope you all are having a good week, and yeah, see you tomorrow.